So this is the IP address of the Valentine machine. So as per the record, first we're gonna scan the entire network. So I'm gonna use -A, -T4, and the IP address. But in the real life scenario, when we are scanning someone's server or we have a network through the Nmap, basically we check for the service plus their specific version. We check the open ports, the OS type, and the trace route. So the major concern when we are simply scanning someone's server, we need to detect all these things. But majorly क्या होता है? For the VAPT part, we need to find the loopholes. In this case, we can use Nmap scripts to identify the number of vulnerabilities. So most of the cases when you have doing Nmap scripts, you have to think about the logic first. For this case, we have an IP address 79 which is showing a heart, but over here when you have done the entire network scan, you can see the port 22 is open there, port 80 is open there, and port 443 which is your open SSL. And you can see over here कि basically जो HTTP title है वो आपका HTML फॉर्म में जा रहा है डेटा, और यहाँ पे पोर्ट 22 ओपन है, पोर्ट 443 ओपन है और पोर्ट 80 ओपन है, जो कि अगर पोर्ट 80 में देखूँ यहाँ पे I can see the interface. Okay, we have a website, a interface, so we can use different kind of tool just like web, enumerate more information about the target. But मैंने यहाँ पे क्या यूज कर रखा है, मैंने यहाँ पे वेपलाइजर यूज कर रखा है, और वेपलाइजर में बेसिकली ये बता देगा कि उसमें कौन कौन सी एप्लीकेशंस यूज हो रही है, कौन सी टेक्नोलॉजी दे फॉलो कर रहे हैं. फॉर एग्जांपल वेब सर्वर है हमारा अपाचे 2.2.22, PHP लैंग्वेज प्रोग्रामिंग लैंग्वेज जो यूज कर रहे हैं वो है 5.3.10, and the operating system they are using is Ubuntu server. For this case, what we're gonna do, we're gonna enumerate more and more. For example, let's see the source code. In source code, we can see only the OMG. There's nothing else. But when you are doing a cryptography or something else, you have to simply check the image file also. For example, अगर मैं यहाँ पे देखूँ Apache 22x powered by the PHP version, Ubuntu server. So we have only three ports open over there: port 22, port 80, and port 443. And we can see over here HTTP server header, Ubuntu, title, site doesn't have common, and the DNS name. But this machine is vulnerable to hard bleed. You can see the image because इसमें आपको hint दे रखा है. But in real life scenario, अगर मैं आपसे पूछूं हार्ड ब्लीड vulnerability जो मेजरली यूज होती है वो आपकी प्रॉपर जो क्लाइंट रिक्वेस्ट होती है वो प्लेन टेक्स्ट में जारी होती है आपकी डेटा. Hard bleed is a security bug in the OpenSSL cryptography library, which is widely used implementation of the transport layer security protocol. It was introduced in the software in the year of 2012 and publicly disclosed in the April of 2014 over here. So how does it hardware works? Hardbleed works on your encryption standards, which is from your client side to the server side. If you see the proper definition of heartbleed works, the heartbleed attacks works by tricking server into leaking information stored in their memory. The attacker can also get access to the server private encryption keys that could allow the attacker to unscramble and private messages sent to the server and even impersonate the server. Means disturb the server, or you can see memory to store to enumerate. Heartbleed, shell shock, poodle attack. These are the vulnerabilities of your encryption standard of your SSL and TLS. SSL and TLS has lots of vulnerabilities. For example, they have shell shock, they have heartbleed, they have poodle attack. These kind of vulnerabilities are basically from encryption standard. SSL version 2.0, 3.0, and your TLS version, which is right now 1.1.2 and 1.3. So what are the most of the cases? How to detect the heartbleed vulnerability? How to detect heartbleed attack? Heartbleed, not heart attack. In real life scenario, if you are gathering information about the target, it will take a lot of time. For example, when you have done the analyzer, the what are the technologies they are using, you can use the NICTO also. 10 10 10 79. Most of the cases they're gonna use some automation tools. Okay, it's automation tools for therefore asking to purchase. Okay, we don't have that much of time to simply use it. So we can read any other blogs. Heartbleed. You can simply write heartbleed exploit over here. Heartbleed caused the flow of OpenSSL, an open source code library that implemented by Transport Layer Security. We can use the exploit also from the GitHub side, but we're gonna do it all by manual thing. The more information you gather, the more chances will be to attack. What is OpenSSL? How does it works in the ear? How does a heartbleed attack works? The user will trick the server to play some words, transfer some words over here. Are you there? The magic word is graph, which is 100 character long. Yes, I'm here. Your magic word was graph, and it was like something like this. For this case, you can simply use some automation tools also to detect. Let's see our NICTO. It's still running over there. Apache mode negotiation is enabled with the multi-view, which allows attackers to easily brute force file names on the server side. So let's try how does it works, because we can use OpenSSL also. SSL scan 10 10 10 79. It's basically scanning the TLS versions. Okay, so Pratham has sent some chats. Let's see over here. How the hardware bug works. So over here, how the hardware bug works. Server, are you still there? Is so, please reply potato 6 letter. Okay. So user Mag wants to these 6 letter words potato. Okay, it's a request from the server side. Then the server will respond with the word potato as per the request from the client side. Server, are you still there? Is so reply word 4 letter. User Mag wants these 4 letter words. Can you see over here? This is a client side request which is from encrypted words. Server, are you there still? Is so reply word 4 letter. Still again the reply. Then he will think. Server, are you still there? Is so hat 500 letter. Hat 500 letter. User wants 500 letter hat. Then the server will be crash. User wants 5 letter of hat. So in the screen of the server, it will basically ask some unwanted questions to be presented. For that case, most of the time, what we do, we will make a proper encryption standard. And preferred, you can see SSL version over here. But most of the cases, what will happen, let's use locate heartbleed. Why? Because we're gonna use NSE of Nmap. So we're gonna use Nmap-P and the heartbleed. So let's check this one. Okay. Let's copy this one and let's paste over here. 10 10 10 10 79. And we have mentioned the port number 4443. So see over here that the port state and the services, it's showing its state is vulnerable and the risk factor is high. The heartbeat bug is a serious vulnerability in the proper OpenSSL cryptographic software library. It allows for stealing information intended to protect the SSL encryption standard. And you can see the risk factor is high over here and the state is vulnerable. So the most of the cases, what will happen? We can see that CV details and the CV method. Let's open this. CV details will show us unknown CV ID number. Okay, it contains some errors. Let's check this third one. So we can again see the same description of TLS and SSL, which is basically used to allow remote attacker to obtain sensitive information from the memory crafted by the trigger of buffer overread. So what we can do, let's try Durbuster also. Let's copy the URL. Let's paste it over here. Give the threads according to your server. Browse. User. Share. Word list. Durbuster, and let's use a directory of 2.3 medium. We recursive remove and start. So why we are doing this? Because we need to check if we can find any of the directories present on the server side. Okay, according to the vulnerability of Heartbleeds, it was vulnerable. So let's check search exploit Heartbleed. Sorry, search exploit. So as we can see, there are 3 attacks over here, 4 vulnerabilities over here, and we're gonna use the memory disclosure, multiple SSL and TLS version, because think that we have to enumerate the SSL and TLS versions of data. You can see the memory discussion which is not mentioned. Is it for TLS or SSL? And this one is DLS support. So over here, the OpenSSL version is 1.0. According to the Nmap, OpenSSL, you can see OpenSSL over here, guys. No, it was not over there. But we can see the OpenSSL version might be over. So अगर अब मैं यहाँ पे देखूँ, we can simply use this one. Okay, let's copy this one. So search exploit, let's use locate function first of all, and we have a proper path. So I'm going to copy this one, cp, copy, paste it on the root, desktop directory. So let's check cd desktop ls, and we can see the file over here. So this is the Python file. A Python based script. So let's try to enumerate this one. Let's use -h for help. Okay, uses server and the port number. So most of the cases हम लोग क्या करते हैं कि जब सर्वर साइड को टेस्टिंग करते हैं, हर एक एप्लीकेशन को मेजर टेस्टिंग करना पड़ता है आपको. For that case, there's a lots of way when you're doing a simple enumeration phase. Most of the cases, what will happen? Simple, you have to enumerate more and more services. For that case, I'm going to use something else. For example, we can use some other decoders, other data types. For example, see over here, there's a directories decode and encode. Decode, let's see this one. Secure data decoder, no data is stored on all our servers. अभी किस चीज को डिकोड कर रहे हैं मुझे नहीं पता, बट डेफ के अंदर एक और फाइल था, 2 फाइल है, एक है hype.txt और एक है आपका node.txt. In the node.txt, we can see coffee, research, fix decoder, encoder before going live. Make sure encoding, decoding is only done client side. Don't use the decoder, encoder until they have done. So what does it mean, guys? We have a encryption standard also. We have a simple attack also. we have a hide key. Anana doesn't know what is this. This is a hexadecimal value. So what I'm gonna do, this is a hexadecimal value, so let's to decode this one. Hex values to text. Okay, so let's use the unit conservation. Input, yeah, sure. Is it text? And what we have over here, we have a private key. So what a private key is used for? In your chat, guys, anyone can answer me. What is the use of private key? Public and private key, I think you have learned in your CH part in cryptography. Private key and public key. Yes. Encryption. Yes. Public key is for encode and private key is for decode. But in our Linux server, we use public and private key for maintaining our secure keys. SSH keygen -r. -t RSA. Yes, overwrite. You can see over here, I have a public key also and a private key. If anybody has my public private key, he can access to my server without my username and password. Just like this one. So this is a private key of a user, which is called hype. So what are we gonna do? We're gonna paste this one in our directory. So I'm gonna use the desktop. So I'm gonna name this one hype.key. So you can see then this one has been changed. Or you can simply, if you remove the keyword, still it will be same because it's a key of your encryption standard. Let's make a folder. Valentine. And you can see the word has been changed into a proper key. Let's use the vulnerability as per the SSL vulnerability. Source code library to implement transport layer security of secure socket layer in used to trick the value server into a sending sensitive informations. Let's try this one. So we have the vulnerability, we have the tool. So let's use this one. So the command would be the Python The vulnerability name and the server IP address. So mostly क्या है कि जो भी डेटा आपकी क्लाइंट साइड से जा रही है, सेंसिटिव डेटा जा रही है. जैसे फॉर एग्जांपल ये आपकी प्रॉपर एक रिक्वेस्ट है जब आप भेजते हो. Okay, but he didn't catch anything over here, or did he? Let's check. एक एक करके चेक करते हैं. It's saying the server is vulnerable. Yes. Okay, but we didn't have received any data from the server side. Let's try it again, guys. Clear? Again, the same response. Okay. So let's reset the machine, I guess. We need a reset over here. Ten 794. Okay. Okay, again we are facing some error over here.